What if I told you that every bad response you've gotten from ChatGPT could have been a masterpiece? You're just missing one critical ingredient: context. Let me show you how to make sure all your responses are always on point. We've all been there, expecting the perfect response and getting something that's way off. The problem isn't just the question, it's about setting up all the relevant context. For over a year, I've been completely immersed in prompting. I didn't just create a system, I developed Synergy Prompting, a revolutionary way of using ChatGPT that transforms conversations. The obsession's so deep, I have even written a full book on it. And today, I'm going to share with you one of the most powerful pieces of that system, the Chatmap. To apply everything I'll be showing you in this video, I've created a free basic version of the Prompt Synergy System Custom GPT. You can find it in the link in the description. Try it out, it's free. Missing context is like trying to complete a puzzle with missing pieces. The final result just doesn't add up. But there's a way to control this more effectively. A way to structure and guide the conversations to get the results you really want. In my last video, I talked about metaframes and frames, the key building blocks to structuring your conversation. But without a roadmap, even the best context bricks can lead to a crumbling structure. The Chatmap is the roadmap that holds everything together. Think of the Chatmap as a map where all the context is laid out. At the start of the conversation, the Chatmap is blank. But as you and ChatGPT interact, the Chatmap begins to gather every piece of context the conversation provides. Imagine planning a wedding. You want everything to be perfect. The guest list, the catering, the venue. If you miss a key detail, like booking a photographer, that's not a small mistake. That's a mistake you're gonna remember forever. And ChatGPT is no different. If you're missing context, it can't give you the vision you want. And that's what Synergy Prompting and the Chatmaps do for you. They make sure nothing slips through the cracks. In normal ChatGPT conversations, missing key context is quite easy, especially when you're not deeply familiar with the topic. And let's face it, not everyone's an expert on everything. Every response you get is influenced by what ChatGPT sees on the Chatmap. If the response seems off, it's because the right context wasn't there in the first place. Synergy Prompting means you're never guessing. The Chatmap helps ChatGPT connect the dots, providing it with the right context, so both of you know where the conversation is headed. Without a Chatmap, navigating ChatGPT is like wandering a maze without a map. There's just too much room for error. Let's go with the first example. I'm a blogger focused on home gardening, and I want to use the customized ChatGPT feature to get tailored responses. In this case, I give basic context and ask for a Chatmap. By creating a Chatmap, we are giving ChatGPT the big picture, a roadmap of context. The Chatmap is what ChatGPT will look at when answering our questions and petitions. I prompt, any more? As I want to expand the context further by expanding the Chatmap. Look carefully at the Chatmap and you will see relevant context relating to that initial context we provided in the first prompt, all structured in a roadmap style. Now that the Chatmap is created, the conversation is set to handle anything related to our blog. We ask for the instructions for each box and observe how we get detailed contextualized instructions. Then we just copy and paste the instructions for each box. Now let's compare the difference of asking to create a Chatmap and asking for relevant metaframes. When creating a Chatmap, we allow ChatGPT to create the full picture. the roadmap for us. Metaframes allow us to customize and choose the relevant context we want. Think of metaframes as context bricks. Metaframes represent topics or themes, while frames are the detailed elements within those topics. If you want to know more about metaframes, check out my first video. We choose the metaframes we want, or in other words, the context we want, and write out our prompt. Chatmaps, metaframes, and frames allow us to get great outputs without needing to fill in as much detail in the input, because we prime context with the prompt synergy system. I asked to make it slightly longer as we still have extra space in the instruction boxes. Note that we can create a chat map from a selection of metaframes or from just one. For example, we could prompt use 4, 6, 8 and 15 to create a chat map. Let's go with another example of how the chat map sets up the context for the conversation. We are creating a marketing agency. The chat map will give ChatGPT all the relevant context relating to the agency. Once again, we ask any more to ensure there's plenty of context. You don't always have to do this. This example is about setting up a Wix website. I like this example because it shows clearly how the chat map works with relevant context. All we have to do is make image captures of the questions the Wix builder gives, paste the images of the questions into ChatGPT and ask it to answer. And really look at the answers, and you will see the relevant context the chat maps provided. Let's go through a few answers so you can see. Think of the little input we gave in the first prompt and how much contextualized output we are getting without having to refeed context all the time. Once the structure of the website is done, all content you need for your website, you can just continue prompting, and the chat map will continue to deliver outputs with the relevant context. Let's prompt, what is the current chat map? Here we are prompting to see what is currently ChatGPT's focus. This context is added to the main chat map we created. Keep in mind that the chat map is not static. Each question and answer adds context to the chat map. The conversation with the Wix builder has been automatically added to the chat map. As we mentioned earlier, when we start the conversation, the chat map is blank. As the conversation unfolds, each prompt and answer adds context to the chat map. Let's go with the next one, which I think is the best. You don't always have to ask to create a chat map at the beginning of a conversation. You can have a bit of back and forth conversation, set up some context beforehand, and then ask to create a chat map. I'm exploring how to create an app using Make, an app designed to help users discover ways to earn money that align with their passions, skills, and lifestyle. I start by brainstorming app ideas focused on helping people find purposeful and enjoyable ways to earn money. This is a way I love to prime ChatGPT. Brainstorming to ChatGPT and prompting for specific ideas from my ideas. Then prompting how these specific ideas would actually work. Among the 10 ideas generated, number 6 stands out to me, the Side Hustle Generator app. Users would begin by completing a questionnaire using tools like Google Forms. The questionnaire gathers information about their interests, skills, time availability, work preferences, and income goals. This data is then captured and stored in a database like Airtable via Make integrations. Using Make, the algorithm considers each user's unique preferences and matches them with side hustles from the database. For instance, if a user has skills in graphic design and prefers opportunities with high earnings potential without an initial investment, the app might recommend freelance graphic design on platforms like Fiverr. The chat map helps structure the app's components logically, breaking down the project into main branches, sub-branches, and specific tasks. Working with chat maps allows you to not have to be constantly given details, because every chat map is contributing to the context, keeping everything structured and organized, allowing you to work through sections of relevant context. Instead, chat maps are priming ChatGPT's attention where we need it, and most importantly, done with ease. Once we have set up our main chat map, we can then ask for chat maps within a chat map. Here we just copy and paste and ask for a chat map for branch 2, Side Hustle Idea Generation. Imagine a project like this without chat maps. All the context you would have to give without structure for every section of your project. Do you really think you wouldn't leave anything out? Let's create a detailed step-by-step plan for 2.1 Side Hustle Database. For each side hustle, you would create detailed guides stored on platforms like Google Docs. Users could gain access to these guides to help them navigate the initial steps of their chosen side hustle, providing them with actionable steps and resources. The idea is to prepare a comprehensive database of side hustle ideas detailing important aspects like the specific skills needed, like writing or graphic design, the startup cost, earnings potential, the difficulty level, platforms or tools to get started such as Fiverr or Etsy, the type of side hustle like freelancing, consulting, digital services. For example, selling on Etsy, which would need crafting and marketing skills and involves some initial investment and offers high earnings potential. By structuring the database this way, we ensure that the algorithm can effectively match user profiles with suitable side hustles based on multiple criteria. Integration with task management tools like Trello allow users to track their progress. Automated task lists and reminders keep users engaged and on track towards their goals, ensuring they have support throughout their journey. Really look back at how many tokens we have used in our prompts in the conversation so far, and the amount of context the chat maps are giving ChatGPT. Reviewing the chat map, I realized that to enhance the user's experience, you would need to detail how users receive their results and interact with the app interface. So I decided to expand the chat map by adding sections for result delivery method and app interface. Now the chat map is updated to include email delivery and other optional methods like SMS notification and web-based dashboard. Additionally, a branch for the app interface is added, focusing on aspects like front-end design, user dashboard, progress tracking visuals, and mobile optimization. And if you want to dive deeper in how you can use metaframes, frames, and chat maps to transform your AI conversations, you can check out my book on Amazon, The Prompt Synergy System, so you can become a master at Synergy Prompting. And if you've watched until now, you're obviously serious about prompting, and that's awesome. See you later, Prompt Masters.